15 years ago, I had a vasectomy reversal. This story's not about the vasectomy reversal, it's okay. But incidentally, you guys that cry about getting a vasectomy, shut up. I've had 2 vasectomies. I've had a vasectomy reversal. The reversal's way worse. Anyway, I had it because we wanted to have another kid. We wanted to have Luke, and he wasn't born yet. Now he's here. It's pretty awesome. But Tracy and I decided we wanted to have another kid, and so we made an appointment to go to Florida, because the best guy in the country, this guy named Dr. Greenwood, does these things all the time and has a great success rate. And so we made these plans to fly to Florida. Now, this was just before 9/11/2001 that we did this. And so then 9/11 happened. And the whole, flying became a very different proposal, because we were supposed to leave like the week after that. And Tracy and I talked, and I'm like, look, you can't go. I mean, if the plane goes down, at least somebody's got to be home with the kids, right? And so I'm like, I'll go by myself and get the surgery. Bad idea. Guys, don't think you're that tough that you can just go fly to another place, get surgery by yourself. But that's a whole other part of the story. Long story short, got the surgery, tried to recover by myself for a few days in a hotel room. Then had to get back on an airplane while I was still in a lot of pain and quite swollen in some places that I don't want to talk about. And it was very bad, and I was feeling miserable. I was in pain. It feels like you got kicked really, really hard, and it doesn't go away. And so I'm just in pain, and I'm on pain medication. And then I went to the airport, and I had a couple drinks because I was nervous and this stuff, and you're not supposed to do that on pain medication. And at the airport, I'm on this layover in Dallas, and it seemed like, there was kind of like this Arabic convention there at the airport, because it was like everybody seemed like they were all Muslims, and like people with head coverings, and people that, and I'm looking around and I'm going, and this is just after 9/11, and I'm afraid. And all I've been watching nonstop on the news is like those Al-Qaeda training camps. And I saw this one guy that actually looked like he came from one of those Al-Qaeda training camps, and he was all nervous, and he had a backpack on, and I'm like, oh God, please don't let that guy be on my plane. And remember, I'm on pain medication, but I'm thinking, and it made me all the more nervous because they let me through security with a pocket knife. And this is right after 9/11. I'm like, why did they let me through with a pocket knife? And if they let me through with a pocket knife, who else got something through? And so I'm sitting there, and I go, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I go get on the plane, and I'm looking around the plane. You know how they taught you on the news about how there's always 4 or 5 people on the plane, and you should try to identify there's one in the front and one in the back and a couple people. So I'm like looking around the plane trying to identify who these terrorists are going to be that are going to take down the plane, because I'm thinking, I'm going to have to save this whole plane. I'm the only guy with a knife, I'm going to have to like Rambo this thing and get it done. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm looking, and there's a guy in first class that looks kind of suspicious, and he kind of does this fist bump thing with the steward guy that was coming through, and I'm thinking he looked kind of suspicious, and there's a lady with a burqa in the back, and I'm thinking for sure she's got, that. And then I'm like, there's this guy that I saw in the airport that I thought looked like from the Al-Qaeda training camp, and he comes in, and he sits right next to me on the plane. And he sits down, and he's rocking back and forth the whole time, and he's mumbling under his breath like something in a language I don't understand. Whatever he's doing, like, I'm like, I'm gonna have to save this plane, I'm gonna have to take him out. So literally, I'm not even kidding, I had my pocket knife open in my pocket, and I had a pen in my other hand, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna jab that guy in the throat with the pen and go for the other guy with the pocket knife. All the while, like, I can barely walk because I'm in total pain. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'll do it. At least I'll go down fighting. And the whole ride on the plane, I'm just getting more and more nervous. And this guy just keeps doing his rocking and whatever, and he just looks really nervous, and I'm thinking, oh, he's nervous because he's gonna blow this thing up, And I figured, because we were coming into Orange County, I figured what next icon of America than to crash it into the Matterhorn, right at Disneyland. And so So I'm just like stressing, and my tension in my neck is just killing me, and I'm just sitting there with my hands in my pockets the whole time, and I'm watching and watching and watching. And then I'm just thinking, okay, Todd, your mind's playing tricks on you. Just like talk to the guy. Maybe the guy, just talk to him. Maybe you could talk him down. And I just start talking to him. And so I'm like, so do you live in Orange County? Live? No. I'm like, live? No. Yeah, like, come on. I'm like, do you have family there or a job or anything? No. I'm like, oh no. This is like exactly the profile. Like, I'm like, do you, I said, well, how did you get to the airport or I said, are you from Dallas? And he says, no. And I'm like, oh, great. And I go, how'd you get to the airport in Dallas? He goes, I walked. And I go, what do you mean you walked? I go, where'd you walk from? He goes, Guatemala. And I'm like, habla español? He said, sí. I racially profiled the wrong guy. And I almost killed a guy on an airplane. And became a terrorist myself because of the log that was in my eye, right? See, the judgment that I had made about this guy, right up front, just from on his appearance and what I thought and how I pieced it together from the ideas that I had, it was a log in my eye that almost killed him. And that may be an extreme example of how judgment works, but that's how judgment works. And we do it. We do it with people based on race. We do it with people based on, sexual orientation. We do it with people based on, whatever our preconceived ideas are of them. But what if we just took the log out of our eye and just laid down judgment to be able to be open for people and to be able to actually see people for who they are?